I think the AL is a little bit less appealing, in my opinion, to the NL just based on the amount of teams that are legitimately in the mix. But right now,
Mhm.
your wild card teams, New York Yankees, Minnesota Twins, and Kansas City Royals. Boston sitting 2 games out, Seattle sitting 2 games out, and Tampa Bay. Man, I know they're probably not going to make the playoffs, but 5.5 back, they just continue to stick around. They just do their thing. Well, I'll start with you first with the AL. Um, I think not too much has changed. I mean, Seattle has kind of fallen out a little bit, and Boston stuck around, but I mean, not too much has changed over the past couple weeks here.
No, I mean the Orioles and Yankees are deciding who gets the division and who gets a wild card spot, which I do think could have big implications to which team has the better postseason run, regardless if you're on the buy side or you're on the days off benefits you argument when it comes to the playoffs. Um, I think the biggest story is going to be the AL Central in general moving forward. You have the Twins that have crept up as the season has gone on and are only a few games back of the Guardians now for the first spot in the division. Then you have the Royals a couple games behind them. But then the Twins and Royals have really bad records this season against teams with records over 500. And the Royals have the second hardest schedule remaining this season. And the Guardians have been one of the worst teams in the American League in the second half of the season. So there could be quite a bit of flip flopping at the end. And of course, the Royals have kind of been the surprise story of the season, hence to the signing of Will Smith and his good luck charm to winning World Series over the last 3 years.
You did call it.
So I called it, and for a while I wanted to run with a Royals Pirates World Series matchup. Thanks to the Pirates pooping recently, I don't think that's happening, but um, I I think there's more interest right now in how the top three teams will end up at the end of the season than who's
Yeah.
playing in.
Yeah, I think you're right about that because I mean, yeah, Baltimore and the Yankees basically tied. I mean, the Yankees have one more game and one more loss, but John, from your standpoint, you've kind of seen it's been a weird year, I think, for the AL East in a sense. Like, the Yankees got off to a really fast start. Everybody knew that the Orioles were going to be sticking around, but then the Yankees kind of fell off for a while. Now they're getting back into things. So with the division essentially tied right now, I mean, how are you feeling going forward with really the Orioles and the Yankees?
I have a feeling that it's going to be flip flopping the rest of the way. Honestly, I think that's just how this is going to shake out. It seems like one day we are on top, the next day they're on top, the day after that we're on top, the next day they're on top. At the end of the week, we're tied. Like it's just one of those we can't get separation. Um, I mean, with the Yankees, if the Yankees lose Jazz Chisholm, that will be interesting considering he's been tearing the cover off the ball, and that takes a star away from them. And then they go back to their 2 star and a bunch of guys mindset, I guess. So, you
They've done
know,
better recently, though.
I mean, yeah, they've done better recently, but you can't say that a lot of that isn't the momentum of Chisholm tearing the cover off the ball.
Yeah, it's been
I
really
mean,
good.
that's helped, but they still have a fair amount of players who have good OPSs, at least
Well,
in the last 30 days. But yeah, Judge and Soto right now are like on a whole other planet with how good they're being.
yeah, I mean, and what helps them is honestly their strength of schedule compared to ours in that sense. Excuse me, where they have an easier schedule going down the stretch. This series in September, I believe it's in the Bronx, I think, is going to be quite the interesting one. Let's put it that way. I just hope the Orioles come out on top. I would love to win the division again, but going back to the previous couple years, it seems like that doesn't matter, and I don't think it is going to matter, honestly. I think this third wild card spot has made it where maybe winning the division doesn't mean as much, or it doesn't matter as much, as everybody would think.
I I think so. They do have the second to last series of the year. They have the Yankees in the Bronx, and funnily enough, the Orioles season, not their season, but their playoff ranking might come down to the Pirates, funnily enough, because the Pirates play the Yankees in the last series of the year. So the way they're going, they'll probably get swept, and that's not going to be good for the
Spoilers.
Orioles. But it's just funny that it comes down to that. But yeah, I think the Yankees have definitely gotten that boost from Chisholm. Now there's talks that he might have an extended absence, which would be brutal for them because he was, there's obviously questions with him about some of the attitude stuff with the Marlins, but he's come over and, at least right away has been producing for them. So that would be a huge loss for them. And I don't know, man. The Orioles are obviously really good. They are still, one of the best teams in baseball. But recently, and John, I don't know if you'll agree, but recently it just doesn't feel like they've had the same juice. Like it feels like they're kind of just going through the motions kind of thing.
To be fair to us, and this is me not as an Orioles fan, but me as a baseball person, the injury bug right now has been hanging out
Yeah.
over Baltimore, and it's just not fun. Every time we turn around, a pitcher that we've been counting on has been going down with some sort of an injury. And at one point we had Burns, Bradish, Means, Grayson, and Tyler Wells. That was our 5-man rotation. Then, okay, we lost Wells. Oh, great, we lost Burns. All right, well, we lost Bradish. Oh, great, we lost Means. Great. Now Grayson's on the shelf.
Stop
Well,
having a competition with the Dodgers on who can have more injured pitchers.
Yeah, and then after the All Star, after the trade deadline, all right, we can bounce back here. We got Burns, we got Kramer, we got Grayson, we got Eflin, we got Rogers, and we can sprinkle in a little bit of Suarez if we need to, or whomever. Oh, great! There there goes Grayson. Oh, great. Awesome.
I mean, I will say they've definitely got bitten by the bug. It just feels like kind of just even looking at the results, it's just like they don't have the same pop. But to be fair to them as well, like not only with the injury bug, but they do kind of set high expectations for themselves based on the results that they've had the last few years because it has been so, good for them. I mean, obviously they're still 21 games over 500. So and like I said, still one of the best teams in baseball. It just feels like recently it's been a little bit up and down. They're 5-5 in their last 10. For the Yankees as well, as recording, they're in a series against the White Sox and they lose by double digits in game 1, which it does not feel good for them, I'm sure. Also, then you get this Jazz Chisholm injury news, and it's just a whole lot of not good for the Yankees. But again, they find themselves in it as well.
Yeah,
Will
you're
you?
right. They lose by double digits in game 1, game 2. The White Sox have one hit, and the Yankees are up 3-0 at literally this moment
I
in this
mean,
recording.
yeah, I mean, you should expect the Yankees to win the next 2 games. I mean,
Should
it
sweep
should be the
them.
case, but
Expect
no, they
the
should.
unexpected.
They should sweep them. They absolutely should. Keeping in the AL East, let's also talk about the Red Sox because they've also been hanging around. Like it feels like the Red Sox, at least to me, it feels like at some point they're gonna fall off, but they're just sticking around and they're just doing enough. I think they just lost James Paxton long term. I think
Yeah.
I see any like tore his calf. Um, you know,
Ouch.
It's like the
yeah.
Dodgers knew something when they dumped them.
Yeah, well, they didn't want to break the record for injured pitchers, so they got rid of them. But I mean, Will, what do you kind of make of the Red Sox? They're sticking around again. They're 2 games out of a wild card spot for that third spot. They have the Royals ahead of them, but the Royals do have a pretty tough remaining schedule.
Hmm. I think the Red Sox, the narrative at the beginning of the season was that their pitching was, I don't want to say godlike, but I'm not going to say what John says and call them uh, whatever it is, frauds. They benefit. You're going to say
Rods!
it? There we go.
Rods!
Um, but they benefited short of their ERA from the errors. However, they were still, regardless if you count half of those unearned runs as earned runs, their ERA still would have been one of the best in the American League. Recently, um, their pitching has actually been one of their weak points with the mediocre bullpen and starters. But their offense has looked really, really good. They have some very nice looking OPS numbers. Devers, in the last 30 days, is batting 306. Duran 323, though he was just suspended a couple games.
Yeah, let's not touch on
Abreu
that.
has a Wilyer Abreu has a 925 OPS. Um, Masataka Yoshida's batting over 300. So the offense is finally a bit more well rounded, and I think that's keeping them alive. They just need both to kind of click together, I feel like, to make it into the playoffs. And they do have a bit of a tougher stretch the rest of the way. They face the Orioles 7 times, the Yankees 4 times, as well as they also face the Blue Jays 8 times. So they have a lot of in division matchups remaining. It should benefit them ideally because you would think that they should beat up on the Blue Jays, and if they can win at least half of those games within the division, it could help bring up their stock a bit. They don't really have much remaining against current or the other wild card teams. Only I see at the moment 3 against the Twins. Um, they're going to be a bubble team, I think, the entire way. If they can get both their pitching and their offense to click together, then I think they should be fine. But they've been hovering around 500 in the second half of the season, and I just sticking with that, I don't think will be enough. Plus, last year they did collapse after the All Star break because they were
Yeah.
a few games, I think, over 500 then, and they finished the season with like 75 wins.
Yeah, and that's the question I was going to pose to you, John, next, because I kind of alluded to they stick around, like they've kept themselves in the conversation, but last year they did collapse after the All-Star break. They come out of this All-Star break 9-13 at this point in time, so a few games under that 500 in that stretch. Like to you, is this the time that they are fraudulent, like you say they are and they fall off the face of the earth right here?
I do think are they going to fall off the face of the earth?
Maybe not. I mean,
No,
fall out of the wild card picture.
I think that it's going to be a gradual slip, and you're going to find that the second team in the AL West is probably what is going to be what has a better chance, whoever that is between the Astros and Mariners, just because I don't think any other team in that division has a chance. Uh, Obviously the Athletics and Angels not, but the Rangers. Um, but in terms of in terms of it, I do think that it'll be a gradual slip and decline. I don't really think the Red Sox will be making the playoffs this year. I just don't think that I don't think they have the talent on the field to really do it. And you want to talk about their pitchers. I have my opinion. I've said my opinion. I said the F word when Will was talking, not the fun F word, but the FR word, not the FU word. Anyway, point is, point
You're adding a
is,
new F word to you can't say list.
yeah, that's right. Anyway, point is, I think that the Royals end up making it over the Red Sox. It's just a matter of which one of the AL West teams also makes it over the Red Sox, and then what that third wild card spot looks like. Because right now, the AL Central, it has the most teams in the playoffs between the Guardians, Twins, and Royals. So something might happen there. Something might have to give. We don't know.
That wasn't on my bingo card.
The 3 teams from the Central would be in it?
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we talked about it was the AL Comedy Central the past 3 years, 2 years.
Feels like a lot more than that. It's been a while. Look, I shouldn't say this, but it was so hard not to. You talked about saying the F word around the Red Sox after what just happened. Could you be any more bad timing if you tried? Jesus Christ, Sean. We can't be set. You're talking about saying the F word.
He said F you.
No, but he said there was a lot of other things that could have went there. Relax, okay?
He clarified. He's fine.
He's
fine.
Look,
I just have my questions, okay?